All right, we are live once again. Cosmic Human Design Podcast, everybody. That's right. Richard looks low on the earth there. You're really down in that atmosphere. We'll fix that. We'll get it going here. All right, everybody. Welcome. If you don't know what Cosmic Human Design is, you're missing out. This is God's blueprint, baby. This is when you were actually 3 months before you were born. This is the cosmos coming through all the different planets, wherever they were aligned, coming right into your body, the beams, and basically imprinting you with a blueprint of who you're going to be on this earth, your personality. So this stuff is really cool, and it's worked great for me. If you watched the Rise show, you saw a 5-minute or so video of me explaining what it's done for my life as a projector, splenic projector. And then JARIN played off of that. So go back and watch that episode if you want to see that. So it's a really cool thing, and it's something that's going to bring us into the Internet of Human Beings in the future here. It can be used as business. It can be used in relationships. It can be used in families and with children. So this is amazing stuff. All kinds of great ways. A great tool here. So we're always looking for the secret of life. This is one of them for sure. All right. So let me intro in JARIN KENYON. He is a traveling motivational speaker, manifestation teacher, and cosmic human design coach. JARIN KENYON, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. It feels like forever in between these shows. 2 weeks goes by. It feels like years to me. I look forward to them so much because for me personally, I think that I learn as much as I ever do anywhere on this show. Things that I didn't know in what we bring about, in what we share, and in Richard's knowledge, as well as Greg's. So stay tuned. I know today we're going to give you a second half on the law of time based on the Mayan calendar and the law of time for those of you that have not heard of that. So stay tuned for that after we go through the Cosmic Human Design for the first half hour. Hi,
yeah.
Mr. Richard, how's it going, man? Oh, sorry, Greg.
That's all right. Yeah, you stepping over my intro here. That's all right.
Yeah,
no,
sometimes you got to be an MG. Sometimes you got to be an MG and initiate a little change here.
There you go. So yes, Richard Mason, the Yale graduate, he did the mathematics for this new Cosmic Human Design system. What do you mean new? Well, the human design has been around a long time, since the 80s, I believe, guys. And so what happened was it seemed to be using tropical astrology, which we're realizing in 2022 or so.
Human design system. What do you mean?
Oh, we got an echo there, JARIN.
There you go. It's your voice.
So, in 2022, we're realizing some things. Our DNA is activating. We're becoming more aware of reality and truth. Truth is being uncovered everywhere. So this is just another light being shined on tropical astrology, and we're using sidereal astrology, and it is actually the reality of what is going on here. So, Richard, you plug this in, and it was like magic. All of a sudden, this human design system is working amazing as the Cosmic Human Design.
Yeah, it's, I discovered true sidereal astrology with help from Mr. Kenyon there. And, it just felt so correct. As opposed to the standard tropical astrology, which almost everyone on the planet, 99% of people, when they say astrology, that's what they're talking about is tropical astrology. But, tropical astrology, and you may not know this, it doesn't accurately represent where the planets are actually at in the sky, in the visible sky, which is what true sidereal does, which is basically saying that it aligns with what's actually there, which, you might think would be common sense that we should be using that. But no, this tropical astrology system has held sway on the earth for millennia. And I believe it's been, affecting our ability to really understand who we are.
Yeah, for sure. And, when we talk about wanting to know what truth is, right? And a lot of us star seeds on this planet right now are very thirsty for the reality of truth. whatever it means. We don't care what it is. So we don't care if we believe something for 20 years and all of a sudden it's not true. We're not interested in it. What is reality? What is truth? What is real? And that's what we really are sinking our teeth into. And this is what has become very crystal clear, that this is the right answer, this cosmic human design system. So amazingly, I went from a Scorpio to a Virgo. And then, of course, I stayed a splenic projector, but a lot of things changed in my my own design. So some people are going to leap drastically, and they're going to feel some big relief in who they are now if they were following the old human design system. So if you haven't gone and got your chart, go to cosmichumandesign.com and go get your chart. It's free. So just got to know your birth time. And then, of course, it's got to be UTC time. So make sure you convert it. Okay, we're going to go into a video to start with about gene keys. All right. We're going to go to the old gene key book there, Richard. You like that gene key book. So let's take a look here.
Oh, yeah.
What in the world? All right. There we go.
The gene keys. I like how the 22nd gene key, Grace Under Pressure, describes the first paragraph, how it describes the 64 gene keys. It says, the 64 gene keys represent the seeds of a brand new synthesis coming into the world. It is important to clarify here that it is not the knowledge of the gene keys themselves that is new, but the revelation together as a complete matrix of a human evolutionary program. Each gene key is a portal to an encyclopedia of timeless knowledge and wisdom. Deep contemplation and meditation on the gene keys will open up a new world to you. There is no question that cannot be answered by them, since all the answers are inside you. Furthermore, as you enter the higher frequencies of the gene keys, the questions themselves begin to drop away and the higher states reveal themselves from within your very own DNA. At this stage in your evolution, the knowledge itself ceases to hold any real interest, and you see it as nothing more than a bridge that you can now discard. This is reflected in the Buddha's own timeless words. My teaching is a raft whereon men may reach the far shore. The sad fact is that so many mistake the raft for the shore. So what I want to do is, since I have the Human Design 64 Gates deck, I'm going to cut it, and then we'll just flip to that gene key, for instance, 55. So let's flip to 55. Okay, so it's actually insane that 55 was the one that came up, because look at this. In many ways, the 22nd gene key is a sister transmission to the 55th gene key. And between the two of them, a great mystery lies hidden. Just as the 55th gene key describes the process of awakening as a genetic evolutionary process rising up within your body, the 22nd describes the process of awakening as a direct intervention of divinity coming down into your body.
All right, stop it there. Really interesting. Gene keys. Okay, let's talk gene keys, gentlemen. So, you know, I love the thing he says about it. They're an encyclopedia of knowledge, and there's nothing they can't answer. What do we think about that? What do you think, Richard?
Well, you know, the gene keys are based on the I Ching, which I talk a lot about on this show. And in that cosmic I Ching, it explains how the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching are actually the 64 cosmic principles of harmony. So that, you know, basically the laws of the universe, like everything can be described by one of these 64, you know, hexagrams. And, you know, the gene keys are those hexagrams, but, you know, they're called the gene keys because he's wanting to emphasize that they're also in our DNA, you know, these hexagrams. Absolutely. You know, I love what he wrote there in the 22nd, how, you know, each is, an encyclopedia of knowledge. Because really, it unlocks from inside yourself this, this encyclopedia, you know, it's the cosmic principles of harmony. So they're already there. So everything's already there that you could possibly ever understand or grasp in life, you know, it's already there. You know, it's not something that you are going to discover or create. You know, that's one way of looking at it. You know, all the answers are inside already. And it's, you know, it's kind of like we've had this colossal misunderstanding as humans where we're trying to, you know, go ever higher and get more and more knowledge, more and more technology, when in fact, you know, that attitude dismisses the very possibility that the Gene Keys are talking about here, that all the knowledge is already there, you know, waiting inside you. You don't really have to climb a mountain to look for it, to get it, you know.
Yeah, what's your take there, Jarin, on the Gene Keys and how he, that deck looked really cool. Somebody said they need that deck. I never saw a human design deck before for Gene Keys, but how he went from the 22nd Gene Key to the 55, and then it ended up correlating with each other. Pretty cool.
Well, that person must have been in, you know, divine alignment, synchronicity at the time, really engaged for it, because even I was a little surprised that the 55 followed the 22, because if you look at the book, those are the longest two. All the other chapters, all the other genes are pretty much the same length. And then you have two of them that are longer for a reason, and those are the two. And I'm glad that he talked about the both of them, the importance of rising to spirit as well as the spirit, you know, descending into the body, and the transformational changes that we're having going on to create what, you know, you would call the light crystalline body, which the Gene Keys and your cosmic human design are the map for activating your light body. See, you came in, you chose what you wanted for your machinery. A lot of people think we're transcending out of this. So I'm not limited by any of this. I can be anything I want to be. I can be any design I want to be, you know, which is relative truth if you can transform your body into something else. And right now we're not capable of doing that. So why don't we use the machinery we have and enhance it and use it how it's actually designed to be? And then what the Gene Keys do is help us operate at higher virtues, higher attributes of fifth dimensional and higher consciousness, you know, living as a higher human, a better human, a more compassionate human, a more intelligent human. And so this is what it does. I call it like the, you know, modern Bible. You know, it's the Bible in a way. If people really want to look at what's going on and how can I transform my life by not fight or flighting challenges or resistance, by embracing it through the gift, through the evolutionary gifts. And that's what we're doing, whether we realize it or not. But now that we have our true chart, which by the way, gives you your true Gene Keys, because I've had several people lately also, you know, come to me as a coach or in connection and creation, saying that, oh, I don't even know much about human design. I know of it, but I know of the Gene Keys and they're freaking awesome, and talking all about it. And I'm like, yeah, but you need your cosmic chart to actually get your design chart to truly get your real Gene Keys in the correct positioning for you. So once again, the site is where you will get that, to find where is my life's work? Where is my evolution? What does make me healthy and radiant? What is my inner purpose that brings me fulfillment of being who I came to be? And so this is what you can access now through these, you know, two charts. And it's brilliant because you get to understand that it's okay to put your attention on what you love in life consciously and what you want to accomplish. And yet you also get to understand how the suit works. And so you can get there. You know, I look at the design aspect of this is how you get to where you consciously want to go. So both of these two systems powerful. And wrapping it up, the 55 and the 22, if I were going to pick the two most important for someone to look at, if I had to choose two as a collective, I personally would choose those two. So I find it very synchronistic that she popped them up, you know, or he popped them up. Grace and freedom, you know, grace and freedom. That's one doesn't go without the other in a way. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, very cool stuff there. And when you go and get your chart, you can find your Gene Keys right on there. So was it four of them that pop up?
No, they'll all pop up.
Oh.
You know, Richard's got a chart that'll show many things: your brand, you know, your core wound, your culture, your pearl, many different things. I just gave an example just to rattle it off of your prime gifts that really is the activation to your light body. It's the activation to your avatar self of what you're here to do in the next evolution of the earth.
Yeah, really, really cool stuff there. So let's take a look at my next video, which is kind of a comedy, but it's good. It's about the gene keys, but this guy takes it a step further with his comedy here. So let me get him.
So what do you like to do? Well, I like to be a free spirit, completely unrestricted. Explain your sexuality. Oh baby, I'm fluid, so I go every which way. Trust me. Oh, I believe you. Tell me about your friends. Oh baby, my friends are straight freaks. They make Dennis Rodman look conservative.
The gene keys.
I went back to that. All right, so that was kind of funny. Gene key 15. I don't know much about that, but obviously he's talking about somebody he probably used to date, and the way that gene key 15 would be as a woman, or something like that. What did you think of that, Richard? Do you think it's accurate?
What was written there? The wild woman? Is that?
Yeah, so it said gene key 15, wild woman.
Okay, that kind of makes some kind of sense, because the 15 is magnetism, the gift of magnetism, and this interesting word fluorescence as the city, fluorescence, like just lighting up with all kinds of energy, dynamic energy, which could very easily, perhaps in the human world, be someone who is just, doing all these different things, a wild woman, and they just have all this energy and this magnetism to them as well, which, makes them attractive. Most quote unquote wild people do have an attraction to them as well. So, that's that magnetic aspect. So yeah, it kind of made sense.
And ladies and gentlemen, there's an example of Greg firing it off on purpose to have the encyclopedia of Richard Mason come at you.
Absolutely.
He knew all the exact details of that gate, just so you're aware. We don't make it up. We actually do study this stuff. There you go. Good job, Richard.
As you know, every week I throw something at Richard to try to see if he's got a photographic memory, and he comes up with it. That Yale Institute really taught you how to remember things. That's amazing. Yeah, but just a little fun. You got to remember that, yes, spirituality, and yes, stars and astrology and everything. It's very serious. It's always very serious. And I like to always make sure we put a little yin and yang into everything. A little comedy, a little fun, a little laughter into some things. We have a little fun in the show, and it's just necessary. And making fun of things sometimes can really teach you some things as well. So, it brings examples up in your head. You're like, oh, I remember somebody like that, or, whatever, or why, maybe I'm like that. Maybe I got a 15 and I'm like that, flighty and all over the place. And so, it's just what, if you take life too seriously, you miss out on a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, Greg, I'm glad you bring that up, because our good friend Gila, who's been on our Rise show several times, I was just coaching her a week ago, and we were going through her charts, and seriousness is a shadow in the gene keys. I mean, taking life too seriously.
Yes.
And we want to get in a state of delight, a state of enjoyment, a state of looking at things from a neutral perspective, and then being able to enhance it, enrich it, and add flair to it. Otherwise, we remain in the crux of the structure of the mental concepts themselves. So we definitely need laughter. We definitely need play. The seriousness comes in paying attention to what you are, paying attention to how to maneuver through this reality to where we're heading, but not serious as far as the stories and the things come up, and also just honoring mistakes and challenges. Like when you make them, so be it. Some of us are designed to make mistakes all the time, because that's how we grow, and that's how we evolve others. That's how we make things better, so as much as it's a very deep and also very intellectually, competent text and everything we're speaking of here, it's also about being human, the art of being human and being playful. And ironically, that's what causes some of the greatest transformation when we get into the feeling states of the higher vibrations. So
Yeah, great stuff. So before we go to the daily, I just want to say we do have live chat boards here. You'll see the one on the screen. That's if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. But if you're watching on Rumble, I'm watching that chat board as well. It won't be up on the screen, but I'm watching it. And you guys are not left out. If you got questions, you got stuff to say, I will say it on air so that these fine coaches and gentlemen can answer those questions for you. All right, so let's go to the daily. This means today's stars. And actually, it's kind of the weekly, as Jarin said last time. So, this is what to expect.
No, it's the 15 today, actually.
Okay, so it's the last day here. But this is what has happened in your past week. You can actually, think back and go, oh, yeah, that's why. Okay, so, go ahead, Jarin.
Greg, you're so intuitive. This is an example. That he picked the last video that had to do with emphasizing the 15, and that is what our sun is in. And that's what Richard noticed, is that there's a reason why it got brought up, because this is the biggest.
Okay.
This is the biggest energy in our charts right now.
My God.
Yeah.
I did not do that on purpose.
Yeah, man, these synchronicities, they happen so many times on this daily. Yeah. All
right, Richard, tell us what's going on up there.
So the 15 in the sun today. The 15, as I said, I mentioned the gift in the city, magnetism and fluorescence. Well, the shadow, it's a lot less attractive, is dullness, the shadow of dullness. What is that? Like, it's dullness. It's the shadow in a way is always the opposite of the city. Fluorescence, that's where things are sparkling, things are lighting up, things are going crazy. With the wild woman, they're just so full of energy. Well, dullness is a complete lack of any joy or caring energy in life. It's like you just stand in the line and zone out for an hour to get to wherever you're going, and you don't think about anything while you're there or when you're coming back, besides robotic answers to questions perhaps that a lot of people have. That's dullness. That actually is a good description of most of the professions, in a way, the mainstream professions of in the world today. They encourage dullness. It's about, in a way, turning people into machines. That's dullness. And then we have the 10 in the earth. I always like to check out the sun and the earth. They're kind of equally important. The earth being the opposite hexagram in the wheel to the sun. So the earth is kind of, it's, like the opposite, but complementary energy to the sun. So it's there in the background. And that's the 10. The 10, it's all about, and these are both gates in the G center, by the way. So this is all about your sense of self-identity, that kind of thing. The 10 is about behavior of the self, it's called. And being is the city there, being. Just being, in the Gene Keys, Richard Rudd makes a, kind of a joke. He talks about the politics of enlightenment. And the 10 is one side of things, it's the 10 is the Arhat, the quote unquote, the Arhat, these beings who are already enlightened, and they're like, everyone's already enlightened, so we really shouldn't even care about enlightening other people, because they're already enlightened. But then you have the bodhisattvas. You may have heard of them in Buddhism. They're always they've made a vow to not cease their efforts until every being is ascended or enlightened or whatever, and they're working towards that. Which is kind of like, the opposite of the 10. So the 10 is just a state of being, the state of complete, self, complete, you know, I actually can't remember the gift of the 10 at the moment. Jarin, what's the gift of the 10?
The love gate. It's
I never remember the 10 because it's you know, the 10 is what all the different profiles are based on. You've got the 10.5 is the heretic, for example. That's why the 5th line is called the heretic.
naturalness.
Naturalness.
And the lightened state, like you said, is being, which is awesome that it's in the earth element that causes us to feel grounded and feel whole, feel ourselves, right?
Yeah, naturalness. I absolutely love that one, naturalness, because, you know, in a way, that's the least natural thing that people do, is to be natural. They're always trying to be something else. They're always trying to fit some kind of mold that they've been, you know, triggered by, that they've been activated by, or self-image, and they're always trying to live up to that self-image rather than just simply doing what's natural. Which sounds kind of amazing, but hardly anyone does what's natural, actually.
Life is but a stage, Richard. Life is but a stage. Everybody's acting. Everybody's got a mask on. Absolutely. That is some funny stuff there, Richard, because when you step back and think of the big picture of the madness of this place and the way we go about life, right, compared to natural law, natural nature, watching animals, ants build, and you know, the chipmunks run and grab their dinner. You know, you watch these natural behaviors, and then you watch us as a society and all the things we do and all the things that we are neurotic about, and the type of coffee I need. No, I need this particular one. They didn't make it right. Put that back. Get me a new one. You know, this is the type of neurotic behavior we have. And like you said, the naturalness, where is the naturalness of us? And it's very, very far away. That's where it is in most people. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
go ahead, Jen.
all right. So taking on what we said about dullness, I just wanted to add another flavor to it to represent the energy in your life, the experience in your life that may be the same. It's old. You know, it might have been exciting for a little while, but now you've personally outgrown it, or you're personally seeking something new. That, you know, the only constant in the universe is change, right? And change is even a low kind of a word, because we're not seeking change in loops. We're seeking transformation. So it's a time to look for our transformation steps, to look at what we do want to transform, to add more light to our life, because something that's great will not stay great forever unless it evolves, unless it goes to the next level. And I cannot think of a better alignment for all of us to have, to look at the will channel that's activated today. So we have the 21 and the 45 activated within all of our energies, which is going to feel very foreign to many people, because it's very much a manifestor channel. And so outside of expressing your heart's desires and being able to take actions, right, on where you wish to go, where you wish to transform your life through initiation, it's also a place that happens to be an authority. So for those of us that are aware of authority, it's an intuitive decision maker. So we have this conditioning element of literally being able to act on whatever we want. And that sounds really funny. It sounds like it's a little, grandiose, but there is strength in that by being yourself, right? Going back to the 15 and the 10, by being who you are, and then taking action towards what your heart desires, you have extra energy in order to initiate that process to happen. That wouldn't be the case very often. It's not often you'll have the entire will money channel activated right now. So think about what you want to transform, and then listen to yourself and have the courage and faith to take some steps, to take some boldness, to take some action, because you have a little bit of manifestor spark behind you.
Yeah, good stuff there. We do want to get to Lola's question after we get done here. So, Richard, talk to us about the incarnation cross here. Can you see it?
Yeah, it looks like we got the cross of prevention. people who always seem to meet what doesn't work is a gift when used to lovingly guide society away from making the same mistakes over again. Lovingly guide. You see, they inserted that word lovingly because we're dealing with the 15 and the 10, two gates of the G center, which is also about love as well, and identity and direction. So this incarnation cross is talking about, you know, a lot of it is talking about the 15. The 15 is this kind of, you know, kind of like a humanitarian type of energy, you know, working for the good of all mankind type of energy, you know, that is the 15. It's a collective energy that, you know, you see the 15 there, it's in one of the collective channels. So yeah, making sure that as a whole, we don't repeat those same mistakes, you know, that's one of the goals of the 15.
All right. So for people out there who are just going through their daily tasks, what would be a good thing to do during this period of time?
You know, this will be a great time to try and learn more about yourself, like to see if you're really aligned with where you are in life. You know, because we have all these G center energies here today and for a few more days. Yeah, I'd say it'd be a good time to check inwardly to see if how you are feeling now and your trajectory now is going to be in alignment with what you know is going to be happening, or what you feel is going to be happening in you know, just from all the interactions in your life. Because that you feel on the inside of yourself, of who you are, that is something that you know, can change. You can change your inward state, your inward alignment. Either you're aligned with those greater forces around you, or, you know, everything's going to feel dissonant, you know, and not go well.
And if I could just add to that, little flavor of that is, we don't manifest what we want, everybody. We manifest who we're being, right? So when we're looking at what our life is creating, it's who we're being. So we're talking to that. We're talking to checking into who you are, learning more of who you are, observing your own patterns, and then checking into what you would like to create. And the aspect of the Mars being in 21 being in the Mars, gives a lot of energy towards courage and boldness and taking that jump or taking that step that you're afraid of. And with the moon being in 45, you know, the drive of gathering your kingdom together, gathering your world together, you know, seeing your place in it, you know, going towards where you really, really wish to go, you know, from that place of being. So we're talking about being in action here, with the being in the sun and the earth, and then the will channel with the Mars and moon. It's like, kind of, guys, feel it, then listen to your own intuition, listen to your own authority, but have the courage to take those actions with boldness. Don't worry about the outcome. If your intuition says to do it, and if your heart's desires are really in it, go after it, because you're going to have a ripple effect that's going to be rather strong with this alignment when you follow authority first, and really who you actually are and where you want to go, and are willing to take it, not logically, not rationally, not worried about what other people think, really kind of stepping into your kingdom.
All right, guys, let's take 5 minutes to answer Lola's question. So Lola asked, I have a reflector profile in the human design, I guess. So that wouldn't be cosmic human design. You got to figure out if that is the same in cosmic human design. Okay. But if you are a reflector, you're only 1% of population here. So do you see all of this right here? They're all clear. Okay, that's what the reflector energy is. So you're absorbing from everywhere. Okay, so and then you have to wait a lunar cycle a lot of times to make big decisions. So a whole entire moon phase, right? So it's a I find that this could be a tough struggling type, but it depends on how else you're made as well. There's other factors, but you want to talk about reflector for a few minutes, gentlemen. Jarin, you want to start?
Yeah, first thing I just want to say, of course, like Greg mentioned, we don't know if you've actually done this in the cosmic design chart, you know. So that having been said, we love meeting reflectors. Reflectors are a beautiful gift to the world. I can only imagine what it's like to be a reflector. To be transparent, you know, you could study, you could attempt to feel into what that would be like, but like Greg mentioned, it's you're really able to absorb the whole world. You're really able to feel all kinds of different feelings, think all that kinds of different thoughts, you know, act in all kinds of different ways, like a chameleon. But the thing is, you do have your masculine design gates. You know, you do have your destiny. You do have this consistent energy inside of you. So you do want to learn those aspects. You know, it's vitally important to see where you do have the, you know, rawness of yourself that doesn't just want to be in the element of whatever, the element of surprise, the element of feeling. So take a look at that. And then I always recommend reflectors above all others to understand the cycles of the transits of cosmic design, and at least generally to have a general idea, as well as, you know, even all overall astrology, true sidereal astrology. It's very helpful to understand what influences are happening right now, because those, you know, you're going to be largely affected by the astrological transits because you're going to have so many gates that are, you know, undefined. And thus, there's a good chance, not guaranteed, but a good chance you have some channels activated and you will have some centers activated. So you're going to feel different all the time, and it's knowing what you're utilizing right now within yourself. And then lastly, you know, some space away, you know, you can be involved in lots of things. Reflectors love to be active. Reflectors can love to talk, you know, all these kind of things, but to step back and get into your own energy so that you can clear off and get back to yourself, and then be able to observe what you want to choose to be receptive to. You know, I call the masculine gates your destiny that's waiting to unfold, and the feminine gates more of wisdom of choice. So where am I choosing to be receptive to others?
Yeah, and Richard, you want to finish that off, please?
Yeah, you know, like Jarin kind of mentioned, the main thing for me about the reflector is that they are, you know, out of all the types, they're probably the most attuned to the general cosmic environment of how the neutrinos, how, you know, like the daily we just looked at. A reflector, for example, out of all the different people, of all the different types, if you ask a reflector, what does it feel like today? You know, they would tend to be able to pick up on what we just covered in the daily. They would be able to feel that more so than the other types. They would be able to feel the general, you know, emotion level in a room of employees. You know, they would, you know, because literally they're absorbing that energy through every center. So the reflector, they're going to be aware of, you know, of the situation around them. They can't help but not be, you know. That's the kind of their whole thing, is they're there to literally reflect what their surroundings are going on. So the reflector, they're always going to have an excellent idea about what's going on in those surroundings, but they may not be able to figure things out for themselves. You know, that's a big problem with reflectors. And you know, the strategy is to wait a whole lunar cycle. Do you always have to do that? No, but it probably is going to be sometimes helpful for you, because you're learning through those transits in the lunar cycle how these different celestial influences are affecting you versus you know, your surroundings. which is a problem for the reflector to differentiate.
So let's see, Richard, the stuff you sent me, you might have to resend it because it says I need access. I need access to your Google Documents. I don't know. So anyways, maybe you can resend that over. So what I want to talk about is, so the Reflector, Jarin, when we made our superhero program for human design, back when we thought human design was the way, until cosmic human design came along, we made superhero kind of people for each and every design type. So with the Reflector, we decided to go with Mystique, the X-Men Mystique, who can transform and kind of feel her way through life. So pretty interesting there. So, but
and you know, navigate as a chameleon through the cosmic pulse and the cosmic cycles of harmony. Yeah, absolutely. And we called it the night sky because it's so subject. You know, you're so subject to time and to the conditioning of others. And I love, Lola, I appreciate you commenting. I think it's awesome you're born on a full moon day. If you're truly a reflector in cosmic design, born on a full moon day that's pretty interesting. And so take a look at your masculine gates, like you said. I do think, other than the transits and accepting your reflector nature and learning to embrace that, it's helpful to know, especially, you know, your prime gifts and your gene keys, because that is what you can lean into, and that is what you're personally here to engage.
Yeah, just make sure that you are going over to cosmichumandesign.com and plugging in your information and finding out your cosmic human design chart, because it could be different than the human design. So check that out. Okay, now we're going to go into the next 15 or 20 minutes here of this law of no time, guys. Is that what we're saying?
Law of time.
Law of time. Okay. No time or time. All right. Law of time. Here we go. All right. All right. So what we got here is 1260 and 1320. Take it away, Richard.
So let me just preface it by saying that a few days ago, July 25th, was the day out of time in this new calendar. Basically, is what we're talking about here. A new calendar, a 13-month, 28-day calendar based on the moon, the cycles of the moon. So we've got 13 months and of 28 days, and that's down there as well. And the you know, the law of time, you may have heard of it or not, but it's basically this calendar reform movement is one way, probably the most simple way of looking at it. And so I figured we could touch on a few of those basics, because I do feel it is very important. It is a big aspect of this awakening that's taking place in various areas of the world. This is a time about our notions of time, and are there anything wrong with them, with our notions of time? Yes, right here we see 1260 and 1320. So this is the basic thing we're talking about with the law of time. We've been stuck in this 1260 timing frequency throughout recorded history, which, let's read all of this because it's important. It is simple to understand the 1260 and 1320 timing frequencies. In the 1260 frequency, people are ruled by the clock, and money. The deadening daily grind takes precedence over spiritual purpose. In the 1260 frequency, time literally is money. You know, it literally is. But, you know, does that make any sense whatsoever? No. In the 1320 frequency, time is art. In the 1320 frequency, people are ruled by their heart, nature, and art, and are guided by dreams and synchronicity. This is also, you know, this new calendar called a synchronometer for speeding up the numbers of synchronicities in your life. We'll talk about that in a second. Spiritual cultivation is the number one goal. In the 1320 frequency, synchronicity is actually the norm. Everything is always in perfect order. Everything is always on time. Everything is always new. Each day is a cosmic unfoldment.
Wow.
And so the essence of this is a simple one. The 1260 refers to an unconsciously accepted order of time that is artificial in nature. 12 refers to the codification of daily time into an irregular and arbitrary calendar of 12 months. That's the calendar we use, 12 months. Each month has a different number of days in it. How does that make sense? Originated in Babylonia, the final historical form of the 12-month system was instituted in 1583 by the Vatican. The Vatican, oh, well, you know something's wrong when you hear the Vatican's involved, as the Gregorian calendar, which is now accepted as the standard in use worldwide. 60 refers to the equally arbitrary division of the day into 24, 2 times 12, 24 hours of 60 minutes each. So that's the 1260. The 12 is the 12-month calendar, also the 12 hours on the clock, and the 60 is the 60 minutes in an hour. And the result of this is the creation of a time frequency whose mental field of consciousness is dominated by mechanization. That's a key word, mechanization, and a third-dimensional science of space matter. Unconscious acceptance of this 1260 timing frequency is the single most contributing factor to the problem of human alienation from nature. Well, so yeah, it's important that you understand that the 1260, the 12 months, 12 hours, 60 minutes, that's clock time. That's based on the notion of the clock, which, as he says, is based on a division in space, right? You have a circle, which is space, and that's how the hours are spaced on the clock. But he asked the question, what does a division in space have to do whatsoever with time? It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with it. That's a little logical fallacy that we've accepted here. So the entire idea is that if we switch to this 1320 frequency by utilizing the law of time, by utilizing the synchronic matrix, which if we scroll down, we can see what that looks like.
Want me to scroll?
Can you scroll down? Yeah, there we go.
Hang on. There we go.
So that's a picture of the different months and the number of days they each have, the Caesar, the Vatican time. They each have, different number of days. Every day of the week is not necessarily on the same numbered day of each month. You think like Monday would always be on, like, for example, every, the first, and then every 7 days or so on, but it's not. So this leads to unconscious confusion in the way we perceive time. And like I said, it makes us focused on time is money. We have to literally optimize every single second of our day. If we believe this, if we believe in the clock time, that's the logical outcome. So
can I ask you a question, Richard?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I watched a little TikTok video. It was maybe 30 seconds, 35 seconds long. And it was on how we lost time and that we should be in a different century right now because of the Gregorian calendar being wrong. I heard that this was a story of, I want to say, 2 kings decided they wanted to live to 1000 AD. So it was 300 AD. So they decided to advance the calendar so they could live to that or something like that. It was some weird story like that. Ever heard anything like this, or is time different?
Well, I mean, they did just simply delete at least a couple of months from history when they were revising this calendar. Like, it was July, and then all of a sudden it was October the next day. Literally, that's what
the damn summer went by too quick. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, all and then if we scroll down more, we can see the what I'm talking about. This is another picture here, the 13 Bacton wave harmonic of history.
Wow, so that's quite the breakdown.
All of history can be described through this law of time. Wow. There's 13 backtones. This is based on the Mayas, right? The Mayas and how they it's supposed to end in 2013, right? The Mayan calendar. And you see, and maybe if you zoom in on, for people out there, maybe if you zoom in on it, you can see that at the end, the lower right of this,
Oh, my computer doesn't want to zoom today. So
yeah, that's fine. We don't have to zoom, but I just want to say at the lower right, 2013 is, it's called, the restoration, Earth restored, or something. New age of cosmic, presence or whatever. So yeah, you can take a look at that. It's really cool to look at that. This is a picture of the 28-day, 13-month calendar. It's you see they're all the same, right? They're all the same. I mean, that's kind of like subconsciously reassuring, at least it is to me, that every month you're going to have this logical assortment of days, logically ordered, with different characteristics. And these different moons, those are the different phases of the moon. There's 13 phases that the moon goes through.
Would this be this is the month names they would name your month magnetic moon and lunar moon? Is this what
well, maybe we could come up with some more creative names, but the point is
many moons ago, Richard. Many moons ago.
Yeah.
All right. Go look here.
And then the day out of time there at the green, that was 2 days ago. So now we're back in the magnetic moon, actually, according to the calendar, the first one. We just got out of the cosmic moon.
Wow.
Okay, so this is just for people who want to see how all this is put together. The harmonic module, the Zolkin, that's based on the 13 tones and 20 solar seals, which creates that 260 unit matrix. That's what the 1320 is talking about. Actually, the 13 tones, the 20 solar seals, that's how that is made. And if you scroll down one more time, there'll be a list of those tones in those solar seals.
I just want to say I saw a Zolkin on planet Mars there, Richard. Zolkin with a silent T. All right. What do you got? 20 solar seals. What do you got here?
And each of these are correlated to one of the gene keys, actually. These are archetypes. Personality archetypes is one way of thinking of them. Like we've also talked about the tarot cards, the 21 tarot cards. Well, these are like those archetypes, the dragon, the seed, and each of them has a power, an essence.
Wow.
And you can look at what day you were born and find your which of these represents you in this calendar system.
Wow. Richard, you go all out when you do this stuff. This is amazing.
And yeah, these are the 13 tones. So that's where the 1320 comes from. Are these things?
Wait, scroll up just a hair so you can see the categories: essence, power, and action. This is like a video game, Richard, when you have all your strengths and different things.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like these can be correlated to those gene keys, and it makes sense. It makes a ton of sense how each of them are correlated, which I'll be coming out with, lists of those, courses of those, all those good things for you guys to look at. But yeah, it is kind of like a video game.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I like hearing the simple equation that the old false time is built on materialism to survive, as if you're not going to unless you work really hard and unless you are good enough to do so, And what we're talking about with the real calendar in real time is it's based on art. Artistic expression, being unique, being yourself, and then as you're being yourself, which your cosmic human design assists you to be as well, then everything is provided for and naturally occurs, and especially in synchronicity, which is more of the quantum reality and the oneness reality, as opposed to linear rational thinking, which comes from the mind, the servant mind that people are predominated by, that they think is them, which isn't you. So we're again talking about getting into the real you, which is in your, you know, ability to create, your ability to conceive of life, and your ability to intuit life in your midbrain, that truly actually has no time at all. It sees everything as in the now, it projects it into your reality as in the now. And then the idea next is living life holistically, in balance, in tune, without any worry or pressure that you're not being provided for. And takes us back into what we talk about with cosmic human design. Is it's designed to get you back to who you are, so that you get in sync, and so that you're in rhythm and harmony with the cosmos, so that it and everything around you supports you. It supports you. It's not against you. So this is, you know, so vital. This is so, you know, epically important for people to realize that the false use of time in all these different angles that we're looking at here really is, in a way, the outer edge of the bad matrix. And there's a whole pure, real new set coming in that's the good matrix that most of the cosmos and this galaxy operate from, especially in the higher dimensions that we're rising to. So it's just vitally crucial information. And without obsessing over all the details, you can play with it, go look at it. No one's going to understand everything all at once. But if you can take a look at some of the things that really matter most to you, it can really be beneficial. And you can see everything's based on the lunar cycle and the 28-day cycle, which is also how the Hindus, I saw some comments about Islamic, we've heard the Judaism, and we're here, you know, the pure elements, not the fabricated ones. But as well as in the Hindu culture, it's based largely on the lunar cycle. And well, what's the moon of the day? Because honestly, that's what really matters most. There's other flavors in there, but what's the moon of the day? And that's our real calendar. That's our real timing. And honestly, this is how our body wants to live. Our body's confused and is in chaos due to the fact that we're not, our consciousness is not thinking and feeling and acting from a place that is natural. It's operating from a place that is slavery in time, slavery to the universe is not there for me. And it's not going to help me unless I somehow do enough to earn its respect. Instead of we're all one and we all can thrive together easily by being our unique self. But that's what it goes back to, being your unique self, living the unique art that you are, you know, and expressing yourself as who you really are.
Yeah, I love that, Jarin. And one more thing, just to bring this back to the start, what's one of the main things about true sidereal versus tropical astrology? It uses 13 instead of 12 signs, constellation, which is the entire thing we're talking about here with the 13 moons, the 13 months rather than the 12 months. So, you know, actually 12 is a number of stagnation. That's what it, you know, metaphorically represents. If you have 12 of something, they tend to be very packed tightly together and won't move, you know, ever. 13 though is a number of movement because it's wild, you know, it's a prime number. It's you know, it's odd. So 13 is going to initiate some transformations there.
Yeah, and remember that the back of a turtle shell, 13. Got 13 circles or whatever you want to call them.
Oh, does it? Really?
Yes, and that is, you can put you can put the calendar right on the back of there. And remember that the god of Baal, who's been ruling over this earth, is the god of opposite. And it's so 13 has been looked at as a number that is to be afraid of, that it's a jinxed number, but actually it's the number that unlocks a lot of things, including the 13 in the astrology and all this stuff. So great stuff there. Well, everybody, we've concluded. We've come to the end of the Cosmic Human Design Show. It goes so quick. But we thank everybody who was writing in and watching and participating, and I hope everybody got something out of it. I tried to chat with who I could, and If you got questions other than that, you can reach us in other ways. Richard, I would ask you, for the audience, can you post some of those pictures of those amazing graphs on Cosmic Human Design page on Facebook? So
Yeah.
if you guys aren't part of the Facebook group or the page, look up Cosmic Human Design. It's probably the only one out there, and you'll find it. So come on over there, join there, and then you can see those charts and graphs and all the stuff from our past there. All right, everybody. We also, me and Jarin, have a meditation. We do a manifestation, meditation, and prayer event after this at 9 o'clock on Rumble, on Rise Evolution on Rumble. So if you want to come over and join us live and participate, because this is a participation thing. We get hundreds to thousands of people coming together, and together we co-create something. We put a focus on something, and it really has been proven to work through science. So it's good stuff there. So come on over and join us. Other than that, we are on every other Wednesday as the Cosmic Human Design podcast, and we also have cosmichumandesign.com where you can go get your free charts, and you can see Richard as a coach over there. If you want to see Jarin as a coach, you can go to linktr.ee/rise.tv, and you can look up Coach Jarin. Just scroll down, you'll see Coach Jarin stuff. Or Jarin, what's your email there?
Jarin at jarinkenyon.com.
Boy, that's a tough one.
The good raw email, everybody. Jarin at jarinkenyon.com. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on the next Cosmic Human Design podcast. All right, later.